What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and happy 2026. Welcome to the first video of the channel for 2026. If for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Sean. I am the leader here at Valid MTG, and welcome to my series where I break down my commander team and all the decks and their deck lists that go with them. So I say we get right into the video. As you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Dragon. Yes, I did build a Dragon video, a Dragon deck, and I believe still to this day it's #1 on EDH Rec. And who can blame it? It's part of the 2017 Eminence cycle. Eminence was and still is a broken mechanic where as long as this creature is in the command zone, you still get benefits, like Edgar Markov. That's the only other one I can think of. But for Dragon, all your other dragon spells cost 1 less to cast. Huge. Because dragons are expensive, and if I can play them cheaper, I'm going to. Also, whenever Dragon attacks, whenever one or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, and you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield, whether that's another creature, enchantment, artifact, land, planeswalker, whatever. You can put it on the battlefield. I've done Rhystic Study. I've done some planeswalkers. I've done Dracogenesis, which then has led me to more dragons. You know, I've done so much. And it's been a huge game changer for me. And as I said, planeswalkers. I do have planeswalkers in this deck. I know planeswalkers aren't a popular thing to have in decks, but for me, they just work out. So let's see what I got in here. So right off the rip, I got Nicol Bolas Godpharaoh. I am a huge fan of Nicol Bolas. I call him Nicol Brolas because he's my bro. Anyways, Nicol Bolas the Godpharaoh, and this one in particular has helped me out so much because of the +2 ability. Target opponent exiles cards from top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card until end of turn. I may cast that card without paying its mana cost. There's someone on this channel whose name's Hudson who plays SpongeBob. SpongeBob is Jodo the Unifier, all about legendary permanents. He has top decked Avacyn multiple times that I've hit him with this card. It is huge for me. Huge for me. I've also done this on Urini, on a Timur Dragon deck, just so I can have more dragons. I've done this on the Planeswalker Party Precon. I've done this on... I know he was playing a Precon. I know. But I've done this on multiple decks, and it's been huge. I've had huge outcomes with this. I love it. I've never used its other abilities, just the +2, because normally once I +2, people are going to attack them. They don't want their stuff being stolen. Rightfully so. So I've never been able to use the other abilities or have had enough to use the other abilities. Even though there is a +1, I'm going to +2 instead. So, yeah. Then we have Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. This one I've used multiple times. This is the first card I've had that I've ever used, ever gotten. And I've used every single ability on here. The +3, destroy target non-creature permanent. If I see an enchantment or an artifact going off, I'm going to destroy it. If I see rampant, whatever, it's gone. More specifically, -2, gain control of target creature. I pick on Hudson a lot. I have stolen SpongeBob before. I have a lot of legendary dragons in here. All my dragons get +X+X. It's great. It is so great. It also stops his engine going where Ulamog was, I think, 17 at one point. I'm going to stop that engine because I want to make sure I can control the board. I'm a blue player. I love Grixis. I love control. Anyways. And then I've also -9 Nicol Bolas before. Nicol Bolas deals 7 damage to target player. He discards 7 cards and then sacrifices 7 permanents. I'm going to control the game. Up next, Nixilis Reignited. I've only used the first two abilities, and really, I've only used them a few times. I draw a card, you lose one life, get them to 6. When I'm -3, destroy target creature. I'm going to destroy Ulamog. And then I'm going to -3 again, destroy another creature. That's it. That's all I use Ob Nixilis for. I want to replace Ob Nixilis whenever I get more dragons, but me and Hudson have a deal, have an agreement. We're not going to upgrade our powerful decks. His SpongeBob, me Dragon, until we both agree that it's time. We're busy building other decks. I'm going to show you those decks in later videos. It's going to be awesome. So, but when I do, I will probably replace Ob Nixilis with, like, I want Ancient Copper Dragon. I want the Dragon Lords. There's other dragons that I want. So, yeah. Now, this last Planeswalker was a recent, not recent, but before mine and Hudson's agreement, recently added, and Savitri Dragon Master. Until your next turn, creatures can't attack you or Planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 2 life for each of those creatures. It's a great stall effect while I build my board, try to decide how I'm going to control the game, how I'm going to get out of this, and stuff like that. And then it's -3, search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. I love to tutor. Anytime I tutor for dragons, I'm going to look for it. You know, I have Tiamat in here. I'm going to go tutor for dragons. Now, if I'm not able to get to Tiamat, I'm either going to go look for Tiamat, or I'm going to go find another important dragon that I need to make sure the game gets going and I'm able to work, essentially. Able to win. I don't know the right word at the time, but I've never gotten to the -7 part just because I'm going to go tutor for 2 dragons. Their dragons can change the name of the game, but I love the fact that I can stall for a few turns, tutor, stall, tutor, and just keep going. So Savitri once I saw Savitri, it was an instant add that I needed, and it's been huge so far. Now, let's get on to the creatures. I have 30 dragons in this deck. Rightfully so, you know what I mean? There are some common ones. There's some weird ones. There's some that, again, I'm looking at replacing once I get the right cards. But again, can't do that yet, so it is what it is. Right off the rip, we're going to go with Ancient Bronze Dragon. I love all of the Ancient Dragons. I love them all. And this was my first pickup, Ancient Bronze Dragon. Whenever Ancient Bronze Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20, put X +1/+1 counters on it up to 2 target creatures where X is the result. If I can get Dragon up more than what he already is and do more commander damage, I'm going to win the game. Or just big dragons go wide. You know what I mean? Next up, I got a Tarka World Render. Whenever dragon control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Huge. Huge. I need to do the most damage as I can when possible. Okay? So, whether that's Dragon getting double strike or another one getting double strike, whatever I'm able to do to make the life total go from 40 to 0 and vice versa. I want to hit 0 as fast as possible. This is going to help. Now, it's Sushi the Blazing Sky, one of my cheaper dragons, and rightfully so because of its insane value. Flying Trample, when it's Sushi the Blazing Sky dies, choose one. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can play those cards. Who cares? Create 3 treasure tokens. I'm going to do that. Treasure in this deck is huge because the more mana I have, the more dragons I can cast, the more I can do stuff. So for 1 and 2 mana, because our dragon discounts it, for 1 and 2 mana, I'm able to get 3 treasure tokens, do some chump blocks, all that fun stuff. I'm going to. So, boom. It's Sushi the Blazing Sky. Huge. Like the underdog of this deck. Now, this dragon was very recent. My nephew had this dragon. He had a dragon deck. He wanted something else, so he gave me a few. Um, I didn't realize how powerful this dragon was, and this is Bellfire Dragon. Whenever Bellfire Dragon deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. This is a board wipe in dragon form. This is ridiculous. It's awesome. Especially if I have double strike and you're open, you don't have flying, those are going to do 12 damage. Like, come on now. That's awesome. So, yeah, Bellfire Dragon. Very, very, very good upgrade for sure. Brain Stealer Dragon. Now, this is the one that I kind of want to replace. But at the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. In all honesty, this dragon is in here for a Call the Spirit Dragons win con. That's about it. I feel like Brain Stealer Dragon would be good in a mono black deck, obviously. But you know, so far it's been a good 6/6 flyer to have. I mean, even the last text, whenever a non-land permanent opponent controls enters the battlefield, they lose life equal to its mana cost. That's good as well. I just haven't seen this card perform as well as I need it to. So it's on the chopping block. Again, once I get dragons, it's probably going to be one that's out. I'm still deciding though. Draconic Muralist. Now this is a 3 cost because of her dragon. When Draconic Muralist dies, you may search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, put it into your hand. I love tutors. More specifically, this is a ground. This is on the ground, so it's able to get blocked and able to die, which allows me to go tutor something faster. Whether that be like a sushi or another dragon that I need, that I have the mana for. And what I like about this one too is it's such a low cost that I can have this out turn 2 if I have Soul Ring or another mana rock, that I'm able to play this, have it die, go tutor. So I love this. Now, Dragon Lord Servant. Why would I not have this goblin in here? Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Now all my other dragon spells cost 2 less to cast. We love value. We love cheap. This makes it huge. You're going to see some other cards in here that do that. It is so good. It is so good. Huge. Very, very, very important that I added this. I used to not have it. Now it pops up more often than not. And it's just a game changer in my deck for sure. Earthquake Dragon. Who does not like a 10/10 dragon? Now, yes, it's a 15 cost, but it costs the spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of dragons you control. I have only paid 1 forest for this card. And then with Miriam out, I got 2 of them. Come on now. And they have flying and trample. Easy money. Easy dubs. Easy way to make the life totals go to 0. I love it. Earthquake Dragon's huge in my deck. Goldspan Dragon. I love this card. Flying haste. Whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasures you control have tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 2 mana of any one color. I have a lot of dragons that are double colors. We love value. We love discounts. We love coupons. Thank you, Goldspan. Goldspan is one of those dragons that I tutor very, very early on. Very, very early on. Especially if I have the treasure tokens to do it. Like if I have a Smothering Tithe out, it's going to be huge. Huge. Just because I have all those treasures, I'm able to play more dragons. So, Hellkite Courser. When this creature enters, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to your command zone. very, very early on. Last night, for example, I had Hellkite Courser out in turn 3. I had a turn 3 Dragon. It was nasty. And then I was able to put out, I think I put Smothering Tithe out. I forgot what I put out, but I put a permanent out that made it not fun. I also had Dragon Tempest, so I swung for 2. So drew 2 cards. Hellkite's a very good way to cheat out Dragon, get that Dragon trigger very early on to to progress the game. There we go. That's the right word. Progress. Junji the Midnight Sky. First off, I love all the dragon spirits. They have very good value when they die. And Junji does when Junji dies, choose one. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I lose 2 life. This one can go either way. If I see someone with a big hand, I'm going to have them discard 2 cards and lose 2 life. Now, it affects everyone, which is good for you because then you're able to still control the game. Make sure no one has a lot of cards in hand. And, move on. After that, I got Kokusho, the Evening Star. When it dies, each opponent loses 5 life. I gain life equal to the life lost this way. I have sacrificed Kokusho before to make when I had a low life total because obviously when you're playing you're the target. And I've used it to build my life back up and, have more turns per se. Very well. I love this card. It's awesome. Now, Corlessa Scale Singer. This is a card that's very underrated, in my opinion. I've seen people use Corlessa as a commander, but that's tough with green and blue dragons only. Now, what I use it for is, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast dragon spells from the top of my library. To see what's coming next and to plan ahead is always huge. And for Simic, easy. Very, very easy. In my lands, I got a lot of fetches. I got a lot of shocks. So I can go find the mana to have Corlessa out. Now it's just being able to see what's coming next, being able to plan. That's what I like. So Corlessa, very underrated card for sure. Yeah. And it's a 1/4, so I'm able to block early stuff on while building up my board state. Yeah. Game changer. All right. Kira the Boundless Sky. Flying and Death Touch. I love the Death Touch aspect because it gives me a chance to kill, big creature die, But also search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle. Not basic land cards. So I'm able to go find whatever I need, whether that be Maelstrom, whether that be one of the Triomes, whether that be a fetch, a shock, whatever. I'm able to put them. Of course, they come into my hand, but it lets me have the mana I need for the future. Or create an XX green spirit creature token where X is number of lands I control. Now, yes, Kira is green, so green is all about lands. And, it costs 4, so yeah, I'm able to create a 4/4 green spirit, but more specifically, I'm going to go find the lands because I need to get Wooburg out to do Tiamat, Dragon, whatever I need. So, thank you for the lands, Kira. Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. Another reason why I need Wooburg. Flash, flying. When Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. To give something indestructible for that long, let's go. And then also, I could tap Wooburg. Kyodai gets 5/5 until end of turn. Now, I can keep doing that, but I'm just going to do it once because at 8/8 coming at you, let's go. Yeah, Kyodai, especially given the indestructible aspect, is huge. Very huge. All right, Lathless Dragon Queen. Whenever non-token dragon you control enters, create a 5/5 red dragon. I'm going to flood the board with dragons because the more dragons I have, the more Dragon triggers I have, which means the more cards I'm going to draw, which means I'm going to put another permanent on the battlefield. And it might be something useful. But yeah, Lathless Dragon Queen, very good for chump blocks, very good for whatever I need. And then also, I can tap one in a mountain, and dragons I control get +1/+0 until end of turn. I can do that multiple times. Have a army of dragons that have +4/+0. That makes like Kyodai 7, Lathless, a 10. Like life total go to 0. That's the name of the game. Lozan Dragon's Legacy. Whenever I cast an adventure spell or dragon spell, Lozan deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. This is Terror of the Peak. A cheaper Terror of the Peaks. I would love to add Terror of the Peaks to my deck, but I'm not able to. I opened a bunch of the Baldur's Gate looking for Ancient Copper Dragon. And when I found Lozan, I was like, wow, for 2 and Is It, I can have a Terror of the Peaks. Let's go. So I did. Lozan has been huge. One of the dragons I tutor for when I cast Tiamat. So Lozan is huge for me, and that is because of this next dragon, Miriam Sentinel Worm. Ward 2, whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield, create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. If I have 2 Lozans out, I'm able to do twice the damage, especially if I play Earthquake Dragon. I'm doing 15 damage to someone. To any target, yeah. I'm able to do that damage to someone's face, to a creature, to whatever. So, Miriam is very huge. Double everything. Double Dragon, double Goldspan, double whatever. Miriam is very, very huge in this deck. One of my Nate, who you'll see on the channel, wants this card banned from our play group because every time he's faced Miriam has come out and I have created an army of dragons and it's been over from the start. I understand. Miriam is nasty. So, who doesn't love dragon doublers? Ramos Dragon Engine. Whenever I cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos for each of that spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add double Wooburg. Another good way to get Dragon out if I'm just playing a few spells here and there. But especially, I love that it's a spell, not dragon spells, not nothing. So if I have, instant sorceries, whatever, artifacts, I am able to add those counters, get double Wooburg, and do it. So Ramos is huge. Great way to get Dragon. Another great way to get Tiamat. Huge. Very, very huge. We love extra mana. And he accomplishes that. Rith, Liberated Primeval. Now, other dragons you control have Ward 2. Love that. At the beginning of my end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Now, excess damage is huge. I just love the fact I can create tokens. We love tokens. We love creating tokens. But more specifically with Rith, I love the Ward 2 aspect just because dragons get targeted. Hey, this dragon's getting powerful. Let's kill it. Especially with Miriam. Miriam has Ward 2 now. And then if Rith comes after Miriam, Miriam has Ward 2 times 2. So Ward 4. Stuff like that. So Rith is very huge. Great way to protect my dragons. It is Naya. There we go. It is Naya. So we're playing Wooburg. Easy to get. Rivus of the Claw. Very, very great addition. Menace, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast dragon creatures. Great way. So for me, I count Rivas as a mana rock, but it's a mana. Actually, mana dork is the right way. It's a mana dork. But more specifically, once during each of your turns, you may cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard. If the board gets wiped, I lose an important dragon like Miriam, like Lathless, like Lozan. I'm going to bring it back. Now, when that creature dies, exile it. Fine price to pay to have it come back. Very fine price. Rivas is very good graveyard recursion for dragons and is a very good mana dork. So, Scion of Draco. This is a game changer for me. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. I play Wooburg. I hit them all, which means Scion of Draco is 10 less. So I pay 2 for him. The next part is what's important. Each creature you control has Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, Trample if it's green. I have a ley line of the Guild Pact in here, where every creature is all colors. Actually, it's every permanent. Every non-land permanent you control is all colors. That means all of my dragons have all of those effects if it's in play. Let's go. Let's go. I have gained so much life from this. I have done so much damage. I'm a problem. That's what happens. Scion of the Ur Dragon. Now, I am not going to lie to y'all. This card is on the chopping block. Yes, I can tutor. I don't like the fact that it goes to the graveyard, especially if I don't have Rivas out or a way to get those creatures back. Yes, I know it becomes a copy, but it's until end of that turn. For Wooburg and it's a 4/4, I don't see the value of it. Now, I may be wrong because I can do it multiple times and I can but still, I just don't see the value of having Scion in here. It's an instant discard for me if I go over. I don't know. I just haven't played it. I don't know if I'm not playing it correctly or what. If you say I'm not, please let me know in the comments how to play this card. I just don't like Scion of the Ur Dragon. It's in here. It's a great 4/4, but other than that, I would rather replace it with a Dragon Lord or Ancient Dragon, in my opinion. Silumgar, the Drifting Death. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creature's defending player control get -1/-1. I would rather have Dragon Lord Silumgar. You know, this card is on the chopping block as well. It's a great 3/7, has hexproof, and then that -1/-1 is helpful because if there is a token deck, those tokens die. But I see other value in other dragons that I could potentially add in here. So I would say that's where I'm at with this card, in all honesty. Still a great card, but I'd rather create a whole deck around Silumgar than it itself. So Skithrix. Who doesn't like Infect? I love Infect. I'm a monster. I know. But pay a swamp, Skithrix gains haste until end of turn. Pay double swamp, regenerate Skithrix. But Infect. Not just that. Double strike Infect. Not just that. I put +1/+1 counters on Skithrix. People will die to poison damage. Anyways. It is going to be huge. Sorry. It's going to be huge. All right. Next up, Thrakis the Butcher. Another one that I am possibly going to cut, but it does have a good ability. Whenever Thrakis the Butcher attacks, double the power of each dragon you control until end of turn. That's huge for making the life totals go to 0, but it is a 4 cost for a 3/4. Again, just one of those that's on the chopping block. There's a lot of dragons that I want that once I get the cards, I'm going to remove. Plain and simple. This being one of them. Now, Thrakus has been huge for me because of the double power with double strike, especially with like Skithrix, because then it goes from 8/8 to a 16/16. Player dies from poison damage. But I mean, other than that, it's one of the cards that I discard. So, next up, Tiamat, who like Tiamat is one of those instant add dragon cards. Now, I've seen people use Tiamat as the commander, rightfully so. Whenever you're able to go tutor for dragons, it's huge, huge, very huge. You're able to pick 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names. I reveal them, put them into my hand, and shuffle. Normally, I'm grabbing Sign of Draco, Ramos Dragon Engine, Lozan, Miriam, depending on what I have, Goldspan, Ureni, Bellfire. There's a lot of dragons I can choose for, but normally those first 4 are what I go for. Just because I know what they can do, they're gonna help me out. Tiamat's Fanatics. Again, one of those cards that's on the chopping block, but I love the myriad effect because if I'm able to get it out turn 4, turn 3, early on, whatever, I'm doing 4 damage across the board, or attacking, creating copy for each opponent, all that fun stuff. Myriad's great. I feel like this would be good in a token deck, whether that's like, I'm trying to think of Zergo. Zergo would be a good one to have just because Zergo already has Myriad. But yeah, token doubler, whatever. I think Tiamat's Fanatics will be good in that. It's on the chopping block. Yeah. Now, Ureni of the Unwritten. This was a card given to me by my nephew. Because of this, whenever Ureni enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of my library. I may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. In a random order. Sorry. Now, this doesn't work for Tiamat, but it works for every other dragon because there's really no cast triggers that I need from any of them. As long as they're in, they're going to work for me. And it's very easy for me to put like a Miriam, the Scion, whatever, Lathless, a way for me to go ahead and start doubling everything, and creating tokens. It's huge, very huge, and especially with the 1 less cost. I have other cost reductions in here. It's going to be a game changer for sure. I haven't been able to cast them yet, but when I do, worth it. All right, last but not least, Wrathful Red Dragon. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. Now, whether that's blocks, whether that's Blasphemous Act, whatever. Blasphemous Act is huge because then if I have a board full of dragons, I'm going, yep, 13, or is it 13 or 9, whatever, to everyone's face. Wrathful is very huge because, yeah, blocks, boom, right back to your face, or destroying that creature. It's very, very huge for me. Very, very, very huge for me. All right, sorceries. I used to have a lot of sorceries in instance, thinking that, hey, I want this to be control. I switched them for more dragons and more enchantments, actually, but here are the sorceries that I've kept so far. Crux of Fate. I get to choose one. Destroy all dragon creatures. Not going to happen. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. That's going to happen. I will destroy everything to make sure I'm able to go in and win the game. Also, who doesn't like board wipes? I like board wipes. Another one I have is Faithless Looting. Any way that I'm able to draw cards, and even though I do have to discard 2, there's ways for me to get those cards out if they're dragons, with Rivis or with Victimize, which I'll show you here in a minute. But I'm able to do more with it. So there are some cards, like if there's dragons I don't want, like Scion and Silumgar and stuff like that, I'm able to instantly get them out of the way so that way I can continue on. Now we need Ramp, Nature's Lore. Search your library for a forest card. Put that card onto the battlefield and shuffle, whether that be a shock like Breeding Pool or Jedmir's Garden, whatever I'm able to do to put it onto the battlefield, and ramp, I'm going to do it. And then same thing with Skyshroud Claim, search your library for up to 2 forest cards, put them onto the battlefield. They have been huge. Those are the only ones I have, just because they're the ones that I'm able to hit more often. I didn't see any other sorceries like Rampant Growth or Kodama's Reach. These were the only two, so I kept them in here for that reason. And then last but not least, Victimized. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return those cards to the battlefield tapped. It's very huge, especially with the spirit dragons like at Sushi. Now I use it Sushi to be that sacrificial dragon, but I'm able to bring back 2 other dragons that are more powerful while also getting the 3 treasure tokens. Very good combo for me. Now, instants. Like I said, I was a blue player, so I had a bunch of blue spells. There are some that I kept, but there's others I got rid of. So, I only have 6 instants in this deck now. I think at one point I had 18. Yeah, I know. That was too much. That's why I went down to 6. Because I was able to add dragons and enchantments. Get off my back. But here they are. Breather last. Destroy target creature. I gain 1 life for each of its colors. Who doesn't like a little life gain? I do. Now it's just I get to destroy a creature, which is very, very huge for me. Obviously, I'm a blue player. I got to have counterspell. You know what I mean? Counterspell is very huge in my deck and in any deck because I can counter target spell. Who doesn't love that? Deflecting SWAT. I pulled this from a Commander Masters, not thinking anything of it. Come to find out, it is actually a very, very useful card. If I control a commander, choose new target for target spell or ability. Now the rules on this, I played this card trying to counter a counter. And it was like, no, you can't do that. Come to find out, I can, because I can take that card and I can put it to itself and counter itself. So looking at the rules, deflecting SWAT has been huge. I've also taken some damage. I've had damage thrown at a creature. I'm like, nope, deflecting SWAT going to your creature. So it's deflecting SWAT has been huge. And just from a random pack. So that's always nice, Essence Scatter. Counter target creature spell. If I see SpongeBob coming out, if I see Edgar Markov coming out, if I see Roxai coming out, I know. I'm going to counter a target creature, especially if I know it's powerful. Even though I'm dealing with a bunch of power myself, like I said, I want to control the game, so I'm going to make sure I do it. Lightning Bolt, I'm just going to do 3 damage. If I see something cool, or not cool, if I see something going off, I'm going to Lightning Bolt it. Do instant level 3 damage. Also, I like to get annoying. Turn 1, Lightning Bolt your face. Why not? That's just the player I am. And then Swords to Plowshare. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Sometimes I've done this on myself, just because I need the life gain. And especially on like a copy of Earthquake Dragon. If it's the token copy, gain 10 life. Why not? And then if I gave it more life thanks to Ancient Bronze Dragon, it's huge. So yeah, I've done it mostly to myself, but there have been some times where I'm like, ooh, I need to get rid of that. Do it to other players. Artifacts. Mana rocks are huge for me. Now I run different artifacts than what people should run. Now you could go like Gorgari Signet, all the dual color signets. What I've come to find out are these that work for me. And I have 10 artifacts. So right off the rip, Arcane Signet, very classic, very commander staple. At tap, add 1. You know what it does. Now I have all the diamonds, so I use Charcoal Diamond. It does enter tapped, but once I untap it, I get to add a swamp. And it costs 2. Now the tap aspect does hurt, but I'm able, like, if I turn one Soul Ring into a diamond, I'm able to have 4 mana right off the rip. That's why I like the diamonds, just because they're cheap. They do have the tap effect, but who cares if I get to untap next turn. Crystal Vaulter Cave, aka Chromatic Lantern. Lands I control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. This is huge, especially with my fetches. If my life total is trying to get low and I have fetches on the board and I don't want to pay for to go fetch, I can just use them to tap, and it's real nice. And then I have Decanter of Endless Water. Now, yes, this is a 3 cost, but I love the no maximum hand size, and then tap to add 1 mana of any color. This is my only maximum hand size card, but really it's a tap to add 1 mana of any color, just because I get to keep using mana rocks and keep drawing hands, because yes, there is a Ristic Study in this card. So the more cards I have in my hand, the better, because the more options I have. Now I got Fire Diamond, which is a mountain, Marble, which is plains, Moss, which is green, forest, and Sky, which is island. So yeah, I run all those diamonds in here, just for that aspect of, hey, it's a mana rock that I get to add the mana. Now I know, like, the Golgari, the different signets, there's different talismans that I could run. This is what I just found that works better for me, in all honesty. So, and then of course Soul Ring, another staple. Now this one I haven't seen too often, but I pulled it from Modern Horizons 3 and I fell in love with it, and that's Urza's Incubator. As Urza Incubator enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Who doesn't like cheaper dragons, especially these dragons that cost 2 in double color, 2 in colors, and then 3 in colors, 4 in colors? Because of Dragon already making them cost 1 less, now Urza Incubator making them cost 3 less. And if I have Dragon Lord Servant, they're going to cost 4 less. Dragons are going to get very, very cheap. But the beautiful aspect is Dragon also goes from a 4 to a 1 in Wooburg, because the 1 cost doesn't affect it, but Urza and Dragon Lord affects it. So cheaper dragons are better for me. I just love cost reduction on my dragons that are really expensive to play. So Urza's Incubator has been huge. It's a 3 cost. It's very, very helpful, especially like for those spirit dragons that I'm able to get out. Goldspan, which costs 2, stuff like that. So very huge for me. Now enchantments. I used to only run like 2 to 3 enchantments. Then I found out I was wrong. I needed to add more. So I did. Now I have 10 enchantments. Yeah. But they're all useful. All are useful. Also, thanks to Tarkir, we got some really good dragon storms that are very, very useful. Like Breaching Dragon Storm. When this enchantment enters, exile cards from the top of my library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if that spell's mana value is 8 or less. A lot of my dragons are 8 or less. And then when a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner hand. So imagine I'm essentially cascading for a dragon. So I cascade into a dragon. I'm able to play it for free. Then it bounces back to my hand. The next turn, same thing. Cascading for a dragon. Back. And it just keeps going back. And it does this, not infinite, but it does this cool cycle. And it's real nice. I've been able to get, and especially since it's a cast, I may cast it for free. If I've gone into Tiamat, guess what? Now I have Tiamat, and I'm able to go tutor for the 5 dragons. Real, real nice. Or I've also done it to where I've gotten Draco Genesis out on the battlefield. Now all my dragons are free. Let's go. So, stuff like that. It's been real nice. Next up, the Wooburg Call the Spirit Dragons. Dragons you control have indestructible. Who's going to stop me now? And then this is a win con. At the beginning of my upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put +1/+1 counters on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. With Leyline of the Guild Pack, I'm just able to go boop, 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 boop. Done. I win the game. Um, very good. That's why I have different colored dragons in here as well. Whenever I don't have Leyline, I get like, okay, so dragons will work, so I could probably cover a white. I don't have black. Oh wait, there's black right here. I'm able to do this. Oh, I don't have red. Let's take out the white. Let's put red. You know, it gets real fun. But the +1/+1 counters are huge as well. But instant win con for me. And then of course Draco Genesis. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. What can I say? I love free dragons. I love them. And then Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to the number of dragons I control. So it's important to have Lathless, Miriam, all the token doublers, because the more it comes in, boom, the more damage I'm doing to someone. So it's great. Encroaching Dragonstorm. This one, depending on my mana base, I'm planning on not running many basics, so this one actually might come out and get replaced. I just don't know with what yet. But when this enchantment enters, search my library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. When a dragon comes in, return it to my hand. I only run 15 basics, so I'm only able to do this a certain amount of times. But you know, for right now, it's real nice because I'm able to ramp so fast. So for the meantime, it's great. Garruk's Uprising. However you say his name. When it enters the battlefield, if I control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. I kind of do. And then creatures I control have trample. Real nice. And then whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under my control, draw a card. We love card draw. We love to draw cards. Why not? Get more answers. But more specifically, trample. Trample, because if someone has flyers, my flyers are going to win. So, it's real nice. Leyline of the Guild Pact. Game changer. I have a lot of game changers in here. Not official game changers, but to me, game changers. I may begin with it if it's in my opening hand on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent I control is all colors. Lands I control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Yeah. Helps Scion of Draco out. But more specifically, the Call of the Spirit Dragons, and then the land types with Chromatic Lantern makes the fetches. Tap for lands. It's real nice, guys. If you run any Wooburg deck, I would recommend Leyline of the Guild Pack just for that alone. It is very, very helpful. Now, Reign of Riches. This one has been very helpful as well because I get to cascade. When it enters, create 2 treasure tokens. The first spell you cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has cascade. So if I take Dragon, I'm cascading for 9, Bellfire for 7, Earthquake for 15, whatever it may be. Reign of Riches has been nice. I love the cascade mechanic. So anytime I can cascade, it's real nice. It's so really nice to do that. So now the last 2 enchantments are the game changers. Are Rhystic Study. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, they may pay the 1. If they don't, I draw a card. Huge. I'm a blue player. I love it. And then Smothering Tithe. Who does not? I love treasures. And most of the time, people aren't going to pay the 2. So, hell, they don't even pay the 1. So, they don't like taxes, which is good for me because I draw a card, create a token. Draw a card, create a treasure. Draw a card. It's so great. Now, lands. Ooh, lands are something else. I'm going to fire off these real quick. You know, I got a few fetches, a few shocks, staples, as well as basics. So like I got Arid Mesa, Breeding Pool, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Exotic Orchard. I got 3 forests, 3 land, 3 islands. Sorry. Jamir's Garden. We love to, you know, go fetch for a Triome. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. I'm going to stop and talk about this one because we love tutors. 4, sacrifice it, go reveal it, go get a dragon card, reveal it, put it into my hand. You know I love to tutor. This is a great tutor. First off, Tarkir had great stuff. Great instant adds to this deck. Oh, I love it. Back to lands. Anyways, Marsh Flats, Misty Rainforest. We got Mountain Plains, Polluted Delta, Prismatic Vista. I'm going to take out if I don't have basics in here. Or I might keep in to go get a basic. I don't know yet. Anyways, Rafine's Tower, Sacred Foundry, Scalding Tarn, Stomping Ground. Got Swamp, Verdant Catacombs, Watery Grave, Xander's Lounge, and Zeotora's Proving Ground. Now, what I do want to say about the play group, about Valid, is if you own the card, you get to proxy the card. And the reason why I keep saying the land base is going to change is now I own every fetch and I own every shock. So my plan is to proxy them all, but the originals in but proxy all the cards. Thanks to printing proxies. They're not sponsored. I love their website. And now my goal is to own all the Triomes because there's not a Sparrow's headquarters, but there is one in my Choco deck. I own Zagatha because that's in Zaxara. And then I own... there's another Triome I own. So my goal is to own all the Triomes and put all the shocks, all the fetches, all the Triomes in now I have 34 lands. So I'm going to remove 1 basic and keep 1 of each. So that's my plan, just because I found that the mana base I have right now is really good in Wooburg, but if I add all those, I think it could be better. Now, granted, it would have to go through some test runs, some change, you know, stuff like that, but I'm thinking that it's going to work out that way. But we'll just have to see, you know. But yeah, guys, that is my Dragon deck. My Moxfield is going to be down below, so that way you can take a look. Just because the version of the cards are the basic versions. Now, this is my most blinged out deck. Like I have like special borderless, secret layers, Commander Master, borderless cards, foil, etched, all that fun stuff. So Moxfield is going to be down below. This is my most blinged out, like I said. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions or comments on the deck, you know, let me know down below in the comments. If you think there's other dragons I should add, let me know. And I can't wait to show y'all my next deck. Don't know what that one's going to be yet, but yeah, guys, if you're liking this content, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Cheers.